Hello and welcome to the Katie Halper Show. So excited to be here. How are you, Leslie Lee?
Hey, how's it going? Good to see you.
You too. You sound a little emotional. You're verklempt over this show.
Well, it's your birthday. It was your birthday. I'm just so grateful to have you in my life. And happy birthday, Katie.
Thank you. On the planet.
Yes.
So grateful. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. And Leslie, we have a great show. And I want to thank everyone, by the way, everyone for subscribing because it was my birthday. It was kind of a big birthday. We're not going to get into it, but it was a big birthday. And Leslie Lee said, happy B-Day for 50K for KT birthday, I think was the way you said it. And
Yes.
we're almost there, guys. And in fact, by the end of tonight's stream, you're going to get me there. You will get me past there because I'm at, I believe, 49,700, I believe. So we are going to make this happen. And you know what I did? I was like, I really need to make sure that people subscribe to this channel, which you can do by just hitting subscribe. And then you hit the bell and then you hit all notifications. I believe either all or personalized. I'm not actually sure about that. We're going to get to that. Just make sure you do either one of those. And I said to myself, what would be a good way for people to feel like they should support this show and subscribe? And I was like, you know what? It's a really, really important story that no one is really covering. Maybe a handful of people are, but not that many people. And I said to myself, Cuba. And lo and behold, I managed to get for this very show an amazing guest, two guests, one of whom is here in person, will join. The other one works with him and she was amazing. And I have her, she couldn't join us live, but I have amazing clips of an interview that I'm gonna show with her. And thank you guys all so much for the love. But I'm gonna just keep going with the show because the reason you watch the show, you love the show, you subscribe to the show is not because of self-promotion. No, it's because of the content. It's because who we talk to. And so I think without further ado, how do you feel about this, Leslie? You think I'm good to go?
Yes.
Good to go, right? I mean, everyone's liked,
Yeah,
subscribed, shared the stream. Right now, everyone share it. Go into your social medias, share it so everyone comes and watches because this is a big deal, guys. We're actually covering Cuba and we're actually talking to people who will not be repeating state talking points, nor will they, and some people are going to get mad at me, nor is it totally reductive. There's some nuance, which I know a lot of people don't like that, but we push for both, right, Leslie? We push for
yes.
nuance. We push for nuance, but also not so much that it gets into any State Department talking points realms. So just enough nuance. Okay. And without any further ado, we are going to bring onto the virtual stage Reed Lindsay from The Belly of the Beast and the War on Cuba. And hello, Reed.
Hello, Katie. How are you?
Good.
Hello,
you?
Leslie. Doing fine. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us from Cuba. Did I mention, guys, from Cuba? Pretty exciting. And Reed is the Reed Lindsay. He's very humble, has the War on Cuba, Liz Oliva and Reed Lindsay, because they are both the producers of the show. And Liz is with us in spirit, will be with us in clips that I play throughout. But Reed is here. And Reed, tell us about, before we get into what's happening in Cuba, you want to just tell us about the War on Cuba as in the project, not the actual thing that's happening right now?
Sure. Yeah, Liz is, there's a very strictly enforced curfew here, 9 p.m. With COVID. So Liz had to go home a little while ago. The War on Cuba is a documentary series that we did on the impact of U.S. sanctions imposed under Trump on Cuba and the embargo. The embargo's been around for many years. Trump basically intensified the embargo with a whole barrage of sanctions. It had a devastating impact on Cuban people, and we did a documentary series. Liz presented that series. She's won a Gracie Award for it. We won our whole team won a One World Media Award for it. We beat out Al Jazeera and BBC to win that award, and it was all done. Our team is our project is called Belly of the Beast. It's an independent media organization. We started it last year. It's been funded completely by donations through nonprofit fiscal sponsor we've got, and very low budget. We've got an incredible team. It's mostly Cuban. In fact, on the ground here, I'm the only non-Cuban. And we've got journalists and filmmakers, and we cover Cuba and U.S.-Cuba relations, and we try to fill the void of U.S. media coverage in Cuba, which is, on the whole, pretty horrendous. And we try to tell the stories that aren't being told, and try to counter mainstream narratives that are very distorted about Cuba.
Great. And speaking of distorted, I want to make sure, do you have, sorry, you understand this, you are a filmmaker, journalist, producer yourself. Do you have anything you could record yourself on locally so that the sound is as good as possible for later for the podcast? Like a cell phone, or even just your laptop on Audacity or something? If you don't, it's fine. If it takes more than
I do. I can do it with my cell phone.
Great, perfect.
And I have, I actually do have a podcasting mic and all that stuff, but it's at the editor's.
Right, we understand, yeah.
But I have a Tascam with a lav mic, but it would take me like 5 minutes to set it all up. Or do you just want me to do that?
No, would you be able to use the Task Lab mic for this? Like, would people listening to it get that, or that would just be for the recorded version?
No, because I don't have a way to connect that to the computer.
Okay, so okay, yeah, just the audio is the thing is fine. The thanks, yeah, the cell phone. No, don't worry. Or what do you think, Leslie? Should we play a video of him and Liz and give him 5 minutes to get that really amazing sound for the podcast?
Oh, we could, yes.
Reed, you want us to do that? Do you mind? That way we can.
Sure, go for it.
Great, perfect.
I'll get set up.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right, guys, this is another reason that you love the show, because how many other places do you get to see this kind of stuff? Right, the behind the curtain, the fourth wall. I'm removing him for now. All right, and I'm gonna and this is an amazing thing that you can do. Watch this trick. I still can't get over it. All right, so this is really cool what you're about to see, okay? I'm going to play an excerpt, a really cool excerpt of an interview that I did today, guys, today. I did it today with Liz Oliva. And you're going to hear her. She starts out, earlier in the interview, it was really cool. She was speaking in Spanish because she didn't think her English was good enough. So she was speaking in Spanish, and I was like very roughly translating, and it was a little awkward, and I didn't want to be like paraphrasing, but to do real interpreting or real translating, you have to be very precise. So that was taking me away, and I was like, Reed, can you help me take over with the translating? And then she's like, here, let me try. And she starts speaking in English, and of course, as you'll see, it's good. So we now have this for you. Ready? This is Reed and Liz, who make this great series called The War on Cuba, which you can find on YouTube, and we'll tell you where else you can find it. But here it is, okay? Wait, will this let me? Was this to cover
what happened?
Can you guys hear it?
Sunday was the result of the people was really tired.
Is there audio on that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right.
For the economic crisis that Cuba are living for more than 6 decades. Also, people are talking about that political protest. That's not right. That just people came out on the street, took on the street, show the government they are unhappy with the nowadays situation. And it's funny because when you talk with them and you ask why, they say, I don't know, I just want a change. I don't know how and when, I just want that my situation change. They blame for all to the Cuban government. Is reasonable because the Cuban government is the face that is also the people that they want to ask explanations in some way. So, but U.S. media sometimes forgot that the actual economic crisis that Cuba are living is also because the U.S. sanctions. It's easier that people blame to the government because you can see the blockade, you can see the sanctions. The government has failed and the way that they try to explain how the blockade works in Cuban people. So Cuban people don't understand how the blockade or the sanctions affect us. So it's easier. Who can see? Who they can see? The government, and the government is doing wrong all the time. Sometimes they forgot because they can see the sanctions, and the government has failed in the way that they try to explain the blockade to us.
To give an example, we were told that Cuba produces 2 of the 5 top vaccines in the world in terms of efficacy, which is remarkable for a small, poor country that is blockaded by the most powerful country in the world. In any case, they've been able to develop their own biotech industry. They have these 2 vaccines. We both received our vaccines. All of Havana is set to receive. All Havana adults will have received vaccine by the end of this month. But more people could be vaccinated because Cuba Soberana vaccine was delayed in production because the biotech company that makes it was unable to import an important component needed to produce that vaccine from a country, in a third country, not the United States, that used to sell them the vaccine, but then was unable to because of the blockade. I can't tell you the name of the company or how long production was delayed or the name of the component or any of those details because the Cuban government hasn't provided them to us as journalists. In part, it's because they can't in this specific instance, because if they start giving out those details, it can make it even harder for them to find a company that may be willing to sell them. So they tend not to like to give those details out. So that's part of the reason. But then they also, as far as their communication strategy, have failed. And then I think part of it too, and Liz talks about this in the beginning of the War in Cuba series, she says people are sick of hearing about the embargo. Even when they do talk about it effectively, they've been hearing about it for 60 years. And at some point, you keep hearing about it, nothing ever changes. Maybe you start thinking this thing doesn't even exist. They're just making this up.
Yeah. Also, I have an interview in the morning. People was telling me about how tough the situation are for them. I was asking maybe what is all of the sanctions too. They said, okay, stop. Don't talk me more about the blockade. I know the blockade. Now give me solutions because I'm tired. And I understand that. And the government doesn't have any solutions because the sanctions are only more than increased during the Trump government. Biden come to the power until now has done nothing to change the situation. So
Biden has done nothing to change it, and he hasn't rolled back the things that Trump did, right? Was it Jen Psaki said Biden is not Obama on Cuba?
Yeah.
Like, I wish. That's too bad. Okay. And now, without any further ado, you're going to recognize this person. You've seen him on the Katie Halper show. You just saw him. Very exciting. Don't get too starstruck. Bring back into the stream now with a better mic on his end, which you'll enjoy if you subscribe to the podcast. The one and only previously featured Reed Lindsay. Reed, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. So I feel like, Leslie, do you feel like, I told you about Reed, but does this change the whole way that you see him now? Do you feel starstruck? Do you want to, do you need a couple minutes?
Coming back again. Yeah. Who did I see do that one time? I think I saw Snoop Dogg at a concert do that. He came out and performed with the opening act and then came back for the main show, and because he knew that people would still be excited to see him again, so he didn't have to hide backstage. That's what Reed just did.
That's why I've often described Reed as the Snoop Dogg of independent journalism, and now you know why. I had a gut feeling. I didn't know why. Now I know why. So we all learned a lot so far. Anyway, but so your project is great. I really recommend the War in Cuba. Not that we do it. I'm anti-war in Cuba as a program, as a policy from the U.S., but I'm pro the documentary series. the war on Cuba, which Reed and Liz produced. But tell us about what's happening right now. Like literally as we speak, what's going on? There's been a lot of coverage of Cuba, and obviously it's not always the most reliable for understandable reasons. But what is it that you really want to make sure people watching right now know about what's happening?
Well, it's funny. I just got off the phone with Liz to plan our coverage for tomorrow, and because Biden just announced that he will not be lifting remittances, the ban on remittances to Cuba. This was a campaign promise he made. He promised to change Trump's policy towards Cuba, but he didn't give too many specifics during the campaign, but he did give two. He said he would lift the remittances because he said it was hurting Cuban families, the ban on remittances rather, and he would allow for more travel to Cuba. And he has just gone back on one of those promises officially. He's spent 6 months deliberating on this, even though he had made that promise. And now, because of these protests, he said he has gone back on it, and it's going to hurt people here. Biden now is officially very much continuing the war on Cuba that started maybe more than 60 years ago, but he's intensified under Trump, and Biden has done absolutely nothing to change that policy. It's remarkable to me that in the U.S., the Democrats criticize everything that Trump does and did. Yet when it comes to Cuba, they're like walking in lockstep with it. And I'm sorry, I'm a bit outraged at the moment, having heard this news. It's extremely upsetting because here on the ground, people are getting hurt and people are dying because of U.S. sanctions. And to see the news, I just today, I was scanning Google News and seeing some of the reports in the U.S. about Cuba, and the coverage is so atrocious and so disconnected from the reality on the ground here. The other story that we're planning on doing tomorrow is just filming the streets because they're calm. I was stuck to my computer all day long, but I was talking to a friend today who was all over Havana. Calm, nothing going on. I got a phone call from my neighbor a couple hours ago, freaking out because she said people were on the Malecón. They were heading toward the Capitolio. What have I heard? And I said, where did you hear this? She said, the internet, I think. My daughter told me the internet. And then she said, no, wait. No, my daughter's father-in-law's cousin who lives in the United States called her and told her that people are heading to the Malecón. So completely fake news. And my Daniel Montero was another member of our team, journalist. His girlfriend's family in the U.S. called them the other day, freaking out, saying that the military was coming. They needed to take shelter. The U.S. military was on the point of invading. I mean, it's like right now in Miami in the U.S. there's this massive operation, massive media, fake news media operation, and it's just they are just dominating social media, and it's freaking everyone out, stressing everyone out here. But the reality is the streets are calm. Life is totally normal here at the moment.
Leslie, you want to ask? I mean, I have stuff, but I saw your face viscerally.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Kay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's incredible that how anyone can ever justify what Biden is doing, right? So you feel really bad, apparently, for these victims of communism, of Cuba, of the regime. And so how do you respond? You respond in a way that even if you accept the narrative that Biden is propping out, which is this Cold War narrative, right? Even if you accept that, how does it even make sense to do what he just decided to do?
It makes perfect sense for him because he is a coward.
Right.
And all he cares about is winning votes. That's all the Democrats care about, clearly, because I am certain that decision was based on the idea that if they don't take that measure, they will lose votes in Florida upcoming elections. That they're getting pressured, that there's all sort of this wave of like anti-communist fervor happening across Florida, and the Cuban Americans are absolutely nuts. They're calling for military invasion. I don't know if you saw today, I just got sent a story from FA where Cuban Americans accosted the mayor of Miami and reprimanded him, saying that there was a genocide occurring in Cuba. Keep in mind, again, the streets are calm. There were relatively small protests on Sunday in which nobody was killed, not a single person. So genocide is apparently happening in Cuba, and the mayor of Miami was not doing enough. They were attacking the mayor of Miami for not doing enough. The mayor of Miami has been calling for a military intervention, including an aerial bombardment of Cuba.
Yeah,
This is insane. What crazy world. I mean, I'm from the U.S. Sometimes I don't understand how people could be so nuts. It's almost like, you know, with Trumpism, how crazy people got. I'm from Idaho, so I did a feature length documentary in Wyoming, so I know some of the craziness that their crazy ideas that people have in the United States. It's like Miami is little Wyoming in their own Cuban way, and they're living in an alternative universe where where everything's upside down, and they're not reasonable people. So Biden is listening to them, and he thinks that this is going to help him politically. It's a very cynical move.
That's so disgusting. I mean, just like all the sanctions that don't actually help people. It's not just own it. Just be like, hey, Florida, I'm doing this for you. Vote for me. Instead of pretending that this is for humanitarian reasons. But what's so sad and frustrating is I think a lot of people don't understand that it's really, maybe it's on the left. We have to do a better job of this. Just really making it clear to people how sanctions are a form of warfare and kill people.
Yeah, that's why our series is called The War on Cuba. And because we felt it was important to call it a war, because it is a war. But when we were talking about the name, I was concerned, is this accurate? So I looked up economic warfare. I can't remember what the definition was, but it pretty much described perfectly what the United States has been doing to Cuba. It's trying to, it's waging economic warfare. That's what that is. And it's really not just economic, because in addition to economic warfare, I don't know if you saw Psaki, this White House spokesperson, was asked a question like, what are you doing to help Cuba? And she says, well, actually, we provide a lot of assistance to Cuba. And Congress, since 2009, has approved $20 million in assistance to Cuba. And it's democracy assistance. Well, it's absolutely correct. The United States does send $20 million, but it doesn't send it to Cuba. It sends it to Miami, and in the form of democracy promotion programs through USAID and NED. And these programs are all work under the auspices of the Helms-Burton Law, which was passed in '96.
It's interesting, Helms.
Yeah, and that law, the Helms-Burton Law, essentially is a law saying that we need regime change in Cuba, and here's how we're going to do it. And part of the law authorizes for spending in these democracy promotion programs, which are essentially regime change programs. And nobody knows where that money goes. In fact, I've interviewed Fulton Armstrong, who was the chief. He was I think the chief of staff, or top staffer for John Kerry when he was in the Senate Foreign Relations.
Oh,
no, when he was Senate
Senator,
Foreign Relations, when he was in the Senate. And at the time, I thought he was also he was the top CIA analyst for Latin America. And at the time, he was trying to get his hands on information about these programs. He wanted to know, where is the money being spent? Couldn't get it. Couldn't get any details, any more details than any normal person in the U.S. could, looking up on internet, where it says such and such organization gets 700,000, or 1.2 million is destined to this sort of vague, like promoting democracy activity, where nothing more. Where's the 1.2 million going? And imagine if the top CIA analyst former top CIA analyst in Latin America and the staffer for the head of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee isn't able to access this money because it's essentially covert. USAID and NED are essentially doing what the CIA did, used to do, running covert programs, and we don't know where the money goes. And that money is what is that? Isn't that the type of thing that people were all up in arms about in the United States because the Russians were meddling in our electoral system and so on? I mean, we're meddling in Cuba's internal affairs, trying to overthrow the government. So yeah, the United States is very much at war with Cuba, and it's a one-sided war. Cuba's not at war with the United States. It poses no threat to the United States. It's never attacked the United States. It's never done anything to the U.S. at all, except for it did when the revolution occurred. It expropriated U.S. companies because to try to bring some social justice to a country that had been exploited and essentially treated like a colony for 60 years.
What else do you think that's okay? So that's amazing. I'm glad we now know that breaking news about Biden, who, by the way, we need to keep a tally. Leslie, remember last week we were talking with Assange's partner, Stella, and well, two things. We need to jail a journalist. Every week we got to find a journalist to jail who's been bad on Assange. The second thing, though, is that we really do need to keep a tally of the promises that Biden has broken, because I don't think anyone else does that, like in a listicle form. So we have to keep that going.
Somebody should be, yeah. Somebody should be.
That's, you mean like somebody probably is, or it should be done?
I think somebody is. I think somebody.
All right.
We'll find them.
Well, then we'll find it and we'll amplify it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or we'll do it ourselves. But yeah, basically, so on Assange and on Cuba, Biden is given the choice to be on Team Trump or Team Obama. Apparently, these are big differences, guys, right? That's what they're telling me. Big difference between Obama and Trump. One is a thoughtful, intellectual man of the Constitution, and the other one is Cheeto Mussolini, unprecedented threat. And Biden stands there, and he is allowed to. Where will he cast his vote for history? On which side is he going to pull it? Trump, who he defeated, or will he pull in Obama, the person whose president he served? And apparently, when it comes to free press or Cuba, he's sticking with Trump. So he's 2 for 2 on that tally. And what else can you tell us about why people are, what the things that people are upset about? How much of that can be attributed to sanctions? I mean, obviously, it's a bit of a counterfactual. You don't know what is what precisely, but what are the things that the United States is doing that does contribute to the people's dissatisfaction?
Well, why are people dissatisfied in Cuba? Why are people taking the streets right now? It's because of scarcities of food and medicine and blackouts, electricity. I would say those are the major reasons, and that's what people are saying. And their sanctions. The sanctions have basically destroyed the economy. Cuba needs to import things. Cuba imports food. It is not self-sufficient in food production. It is very close to self-sufficient in production of medicine, but it needs to import raw materials to produce medicine. And Cuba imports oil. And essentially, in different ways, the sanctions sort of have blocked Cuba's ability to import these things, and that's always been the case. But Cuba's managed to get by. It wasn't like things were rosy when Obama was president in Cuba economically, but things were improving. And as Liz says, and people on my team, they came up with this phrase as we were writing a script for the next war in Cuba. We're doing part 2 of War in Cuba, part 2, even before this recent crisis. In Cuba, it's easy to survive, but it's hard to thrive. And that was sort of the case. And I think it's now getting to the point where it's hard to survive. Easy to survive because in Cuba, there's almost no one is homeless. I've never seen anyone really who's homeless. Everyone has a house. People aren't evicted. There aren't big sort of, there are subsidies for there's ration cards people have. It's not enough to survive, but it helps. There's a lot of solidarity. There's free healthcare. The school is free. Nobody's in debt. So people get by. They're not hungry. But that's changing now. People are saying that they're hungry, and people aren't able to get free healthcare because they are able to get healthcare because they don't have medicine. And so, yeah, I think we're entering a new stage, and that's what has driven people to the streets. And because before this, I would ask, and I would always have talks about this. Why don't people rise up in Cuba? Because things are not great here. This is not well before the recent crisis, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, because people were constantly complaining about the situation not being bad. And one of the reasons I felt that was the case, and after having lived here, is because it's pretty easy to survive here. So, they're not driven to the brink like I saw in Egypt, for example, or in Haiti when I saw massive uprisings, spontaneous uprisings. But that it is getting to that point in Cuba, and that is absolutely. You can't say it's on 100% the fault of sanctions, but it is in large part the fault of sanctions. And as Liz always says, we'll never know. And she says in the war on Cuba, you want to. So you're saying that socialism is a failure and communism is a failure, which is what Biden said today. Cuba's a failed state, communism failed. Okay, lift the sanctions, and then we'll see. Because until you lift the sanctions, we'll never know.
Right. Yeah. If you want to show us how bad Cuba is, we're gonna have to do a controlled experiment and be able to see what's on them versus the sanctions. Okay. And yeah, this is anything else? I know I really appreciate your time and how generous you've been. And I know you're totally wiped out from interviews with me today, multiple interviews. This is the third, if we count what just happened pre and post my showing them that little interview. That's 2 and 3.
Well, yeah. No, I'm all amped up now because I was exhausted and ready to sleep. And then I saw the news of Biden's announcement. And
yeah.
I'm so angry that I'm now don't think I'm going to be able to sleep.
Good. Well, we're going to do an all-nighter. It's going to be it's called Up All Night with Lindsay. Is there video of a Biden announcing this, or
I don't know. I just came across. I just saw Miami Herald announcing. He made a statement earlier today.
Yeah, I'm looking for that.
He made a statement with Merkel. He did a press conference with Merkel. I guess he's in Germany, and he made a statement about Cuba's vaccines, which was another completely cynical, outrageous, absurd statement. He said that because his spokesperson had already made a statement about vaccines, saying that people are taking the streets to. We did a post about this today on our social media. But saying that people in Cuba are taking the streets because they didn't have vaccines, it's completely absurd. Because in Havana, everyone over the age of 19 has received at least a dose. I got my second dose a couple weeks ago. People are not taking the streets because they don't have vaccines. And then Biden said today in a statement that he said, I will offer to find a way to send significant amounts of vaccines to Cuba. Thank you so much, President Biden. We don't need vaccines. And then he said, but under one condition, the Cuban government can't distribute them. We need to get an international organization to come in and distribute vaccines. Well, there is no organization in Cuba outside of the public health system to distribute vaccines because Cuba takes care of its people. It has a public health care system that is massive and extensive. And there's a doctor a block and a half from here every day that I can go to whenever I want. Doesn't ask any questions. I don't have to show an insurance card. I don't have to pay any money. I just say, and all you do is you say your name, you say your age, and they attend to you. And they know who you are. First of all, you don't need to. If it's your first time, it's the only information you give you, no questions asked, and they help you. That's how Cuba's healthcare system works. And they are the most effective ones and the only ones who could potentially distribute a vaccine. So how insulting to say that an international, what are the government going to do with all the vaccines that they supposedly wouldn't distribute to people? Sell them to. I mean, it's absurd, and the crazy thing is they don't need vaccines. They don't need them because Cuba is going to be fully vaccinated before the United States is.
Yeah, they could send syringes, mail some syringes, right?
Syringes they could send. Yeah, syringes. How about lift the sanctions?
That's even easier. Yeah, right. That would be a really easy way to do it. Biden, what a tool.
I think it's more likely that the United States will be in greater need of vaccines before Cuba will.
Yeah. And I mean, I almost want to be like, don't give them to us, Cuba. Don't give them to us. We don't deserve it. But unfortunately, that's not the way, contagion works. Also, it's not the fault of the people who are just, don't give them to Biden. That's what I'm going to say. If push comes to shove. Don't, when you're sending those vaccines across state lines and country lines. No, that's awful. And do you want to, maybe we should just hate watch like a minute clip of Biden responding to, I don't know if it's the thing where he's talking about remittances, but we do have, I feel like it would be cathartic. Reed, I'm doing this for you, for your own sake. I want to make sure that you're with
I'll have to see it
that you're watching. Yeah. All right. So here, here's a nice clip of Biden on Haiti and Cuba. That's a good combo. Okay.
Answering the question relative to Haiti and Cuba. And communism is a failed system, universally failed system.
Universal.
And, I don't see socialism as a very useful substitute, but that's another story. With regard to whether the circumstance in which we would send military troops to Haiti, we're only sending American Marines to our embassy to make sure that they are secure and nothing is out of whack at all. The idea of sending American forces into Haiti is not on the agenda at this moment, number one. Number two, with regard to Cuba, Cuba is unfortunately, a failed state and repressing their citizens. There are a number of things that we would consider doing to help the people of Cuba, but it would require a different circumstance or a guarantee that they would not be taken advantage of by the government. For example, the ability to send remittances back to Cuba. I would not do that now because the fact is it's highly likely that the regime would confiscate those remittances or big chunks of it. With regard to they need COVID they have a COVID problem in Cuba, I would be prepared to give significant amounts of vaccine if in fact I was assured an international organization would administer those vaccines and do it in a way that average citizens would have access to those vaccines. One of the things that you did not ask, but we're considering is they've cut off access to the internet. We're considering whether we have the technological ability to reinstate that access. And I think the question. Thank you.
I can't tell. Maybe you can help me. I can't tell if he is just cynical and viciously mean, or he's just incredibly stupid and uninformed. I don't understand. I mean, everything, you can go right down the list, but on the internet, by the way, if you have a VPN, which pretty much everyone does now because they just figured it out, because Cubans just can figure out anything pretty much immediately to get around something because they've been doing it for so long. They're like the most resourceful people in the world because they've been living under the embargo for so long. They all have VPN now. And if you have a VPN, you do have access to internet. I have access to internet right now. I'm talking to you from Havana. I'm from my house. I actually have it on my phone too. And I've got cell data because I have a VPN. And I just was talking to a friend who didn't even know what a VPN was yesterday. And now she has one, and so do all of her friends. So everyone here has internet access. So they probably don't need Biden's help. Not sure what he would do about that. The other thing is about the vaccine. I mean, come on. Cuba has a COVID problem? Oh, right. Yes, the COVID. I somehow remember the United States having a COVID problem.
Yeah.
I remember my mom calling me from the town in Idaho where I grew up, because it was literally the epicenter of COVID in the United States, and the rates were just out of control. It was like 1 out of every 200 people had COVID, and more people with COVID. I mean, I think I may have said this with the interview with Liz, but 5 times more people per capita have COVID in the United States than in Cuba. Cuba does not have a COVID problem. the way they handle COVID has been incredible. What, like, I don't get it. Does he not know that? I somehow feel like, it almost feels like he doesn't actually know that he's got some idiots around him. But
yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Leslie? Idiocy or vicious liar, or vicious cynical liar, or real idiot, or combo? What's your
head of the most evil regime in human history?
And yeah,
I know. I always
Like,
want
what
to
do you
believe
expect?
people are well intentioned.
I know. Me too.
I want to.
You're like Darth Vader. What are his motivations?
You know, but he sort of has this way about him. He sort of, I don't know, some other, I felt like when I would watch Hillary Clinton, I remember being at a press conference when she visited Egypt, and just, you could just see her smiling, and I thought, oh my God, she knows, she knows exactly what she's doing, and she's lying through her teeth, and she loves it. And Biden doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't come off to me. So, but maybe I'm being like chauvinistic or something, and not judging the militia. So it comes off as dopey and dumb.
Well, yeah, I think he's both of those things. I think he's never been like the sharpest. I mean, he's not that impressive at anything, really. He's like a very good, prolific liar. He's lied about lots of different things. He's lied and gotten away with it. He's lied about his school, rankings, about whether he was a professor, about what he did in South Africa, about whether he was visiting Nelson Mandela, about Social Security, about getting attacked or shot at in Iraq. I mean, everything. But he's not like, I mean, I often will wonder these things, and sometimes people will make fun of me as being naive or gullible or who cares. But I do think it's interesting. I think that Biden, like Hillary, definitely knows. She's a total nerd. She knows everything, except for like how to win an election. But within certain things, she knows everything. And I think Biden, what it is that he has some kind of dementia thing going on. But if he were totally at his most aware, he's not that smart. He's okay. He's smartish, but he's a dick. But the dementia thing, it almost looks like he's a nice guy.
Right. It softens his image up a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Oh God.
So, but yeah, that's really unbelievable.
Well, we're gonna do a video tomorrow.
Oh, great.
At least one. I think we're gonna just show how the streets are calm, and I think because they are, we'll show the reality of what's going on in Havana, and we're gonna do one about families that are impacted by remittances.
Oh, great.
And, so be on the lookout for those. I think we're gonna start it bright and early on those because it feels like that's something that nobody else would do. So
yeah, and it's really important. Again, like it's just sadistic. Like even if you think that this government, this regime is gonna like be skimming off the top or stealing remittances, like let people send what they want. You know what I mean? This isn't like this is free. Isn't this the like liberty and freedom and individual will that this country, the United States, is supposed to love? Like hands off, like the government shouldn't be involved in this. Let people mail things to their relatives.
Yeah. Now, Biden, what his argument is that the government is going to take money from it's going to skim off the top of the remittances. And I'll be honest, I haven't looked into this deeply, into this particular, to actually study like the economics of it and where does every penny go. If someone goes to Western Union, Miami, and they pay them $100, and then their family on the other end gets how much, and how much does the government take? I don't know that exactly, but I'll tell you, it's going to be a lot less, whatever the government takes, than what is taken out right now. Right now it's almost like if you want to get $100, you've got to pay 160. Like if your family, because people are bringing them down, and that's what they're charging. So there are people coming down black market. They're throwing a suitcase. They got cash. You want some of that cash. So your family member gives that person 160, comes down and gives you 100. So it's a lot less than that. And the other thing is, for better or worse, the state runs things like they have the banks, and they run. It's a socialist economy, so they have those institutions. So just like Western Union takes a cut, the government here on this end, I'm sure, takes whatever small percent cut. That's how things work. Like, I don't know if you do a blockade against Western Union because they're taking cut of the
Right.
for providing a service. So, I know one thing, that government's not getting, like, it's not like they're sustaining the economy by taking a small percent of the money from the remittances. The way that helps Cuba more than anything is by getting money in the hands of Cubans.
Right.
And I just saw an article, I think it's $3.5 billion. It's a lot of money in remittances, a huge part of the economy, an enormous part of the economy. So that, if you imagine that money coming into the economy and helping, and Cubans are they have incredible solidarity and generosity. Someone doesn't have any, ran out of sugar, the neighbor's going to give you sugar or rice or treat one family is down, the other family's going to help out. And that money coming in the form of remittances is going to be a huge relief to Cubans who are suffering under COVID and suffering under the sanctions. So yeah, this is a huge deal, what Biden has just done today, an enormous deal.
Yeah, disgusting. Yeah, I was just saying, even if that were to be true, even to take his really, his like stereotypical, the trope of the corrupt foreign government, like skimming off the top, even if that's true, and I don't have any evidence of that. And again, as you said, there's, institutions do that here. But even that's true, just don't pretend you care about individual suffering Cubans, because it would be better for them to get something, even if the government is going to get rich off of it. Like, again, who do you care about? I'm just trying to help him with his narrative. I'm trying to help Joe, because he's a little, he's not he's having some trouble. So we're just offering some PR tips. Yeah. Anyway, well, Reed, thank you so much. We will definitely check out. I'll link to the War on Cuba, the documentary project. Say hi to Liz. Definitely want to have both of you guys on, so we'll have to do an earlier stream at some point, and we can do live with you and Liz. And thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks, both of you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, that's great, huh?
Yeah, great interview. Awful country.
Great interview. Awful country. Cool country. Awful country in the United States. Cool country, Cuba. Yeah. Oh shit! I forgot to ask about they say someone was killed, right? One person killed. Although I didn't want to say that, because there's been so much fake news. And also, how many people have been killed, like, so far in protests? Like someone, Reed actually was saying in the interview, which I'll be, 1 second. I'll be releasing part of for everyone, then part of it will be Patreon. But he was saying that, sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Just saying, police presence. Like, yeah, there's been use of force, right, at these protests, because whenever you go to a protest, whenever there are police, there will be excessive force.
Wow.
And he was saying there hadn't been any, he's been in protests in all different countries, and he was like, it's certainly, people are being taken away, and it's certainly not the way it is in countries like, it's not like the way it is in Haiti or the United States. Apparently, like what you pointed out, every protest in the United States has tear gas, and there hadn't been tear gas. But it's just an interesting way that things get framed, and we just accept it as fact, which we obviously need doing, because
because when you think about it, just imagine if this protest was so intense to the point where dissatisfied citizens were like storming the Cuban capital, and some police officers opened fire on them and shot them in the neck, and they killed. We definitely would be calling for an international oversight or something of that country, because clearly, no matter what you're saying, they don't know what's going on, and they can't handle their own affairs anymore, because that's the paternalistic idea we're putting on Cuba. How can we as Americans not think that every other country in the world shouldn't be here, taking over our government, saying, all right, you have too much power, you have too much money, you have too many guns, and you obviously can't handle them.
Right.
If Yeah, what like save Cuba? No, save America. Save
Yeah, seriously, sponsor an
like
American citizen.
yeah, what was that? What was the AstroTurf hashtag they tried to use? What was it? Save Cuba or protect Cuba?
SOS Cuba.
Yeah,
SOS
SOS
Cuba.
Cuba. SOS America.
SOS America. Guys, we need to
America.
start that. Let's do that right now, actually. What should we tweet for that? Let me think. 1 second. SOS America. I do like that. And then we have 2 things we're going to do with you do next. We're going to go over some of the Biden lies because Leslie, man of his word that he is, he found a Biden lie tracker.
Oh yeah, this is a fun one. All right.
This is a fun one. And then we're also going to we're going to go over some fake news, social media about Cuba. But I'm going to try to find out the answer to that question about people in the protest. But yeah, you're right. I mean, Leslie, you of all people, you have kind of problematized, if you will, the narrative around Jan 6. But honestly, we have a coup. We had a coup in this country, so we really don't have the resources.
I know people are going to. Yeah, people are going to be hearing that and saying like, "What are you comparing the 1/6 protesters to the protesters in Cuba? Those Cubans are just fighting for some their rights and something." Like we're not interested. The argument that like Biden is making is not just about, or they're making is not just that there's a faction of Cubans who are angry. It's that Cuban can't handle its own shit. Does anyone looking at 1/6 saw that and thought America can handle their own shit? Doesn't matter if it was only half the country that wanted to storm the Capitol and take it over. Half is probably too much for how much money and power we have, and we should be, maybe annexed and split up and broken up or taken over by some sort of international community at some point.
I agree.
Clearly, we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, we know what we're doing, and we almost had we had a Cheeto Mussolini man.
I mean, the liberals have been made. I have to say, Biden's biggest fans are the ones that have made the argument that absolutely we should be like looking to be under some sort of conservatorship like Britney Spears, because if you've been talking about for the past 6 months that fascist coup almost happened and the only thing that stopped it was a cop who ran scared past Mitt Romney, then I don't know. Our democracy seems too fragile to be entrusted to continue to be trusted in the hands of a man who frankly looks like a corpse, Joe Biden. I'm sorry. And clearly we don't have anybody else that is suitable to replace him. Otherwise we wouldn't have picked him. So I'm calling on the international community. My name is Leslie. I am only 13 years old. I'm living in the capital of America in DC, and I'm asking for help from the international community.
Please, whatever you can do, goes a long way. Anything you can do to dissuade the United States from intervening abroad, that helps. It may not be much. We may have too big of a footprint. The empire has probably already, done too much damage. Maybe you think that to yourself, but every uprising that the United States doesn't pretend is a call for help makes a big difference. How is that? I was just trying to help you with your script.
Yeah. We'll work on it. But I did pull up the Biden promise tracker, which did exist. I was right. Someone did it. But would you like to guess?
Yes. Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to access is my laptop lagging a lot? I'm having some I think I need to trash a program. Sorry about the cursing. But let me just try to.
Let me see. I was just trying to share my screen, and now my my Chrome is slowing down for some reason.
Look, it's like the gusanos in Miami have infected our Chrome or something.
Well, let me say this. I am Leslie the Third, host of Struggle Session, patreon.com/struggle session. But if you want to hit me up directly, Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal, LLEEIII, I would really appreciate it. Would really help me out. If you're enjoying the K Harper Show, please donate to K. But also, you can hit me up with a tip if you don't mind. But
Yeah.
let me see. Oh, sorry, Maya. I think I'm gonna have to leave because my Chrome is crashing.
Yeah, what the hell? Mine too.
That's so
What
strange.
happened?
All right.
Yeah, you want to refresh and come back in? I
Yeah,
may have to do
yeah.
that too. Okay, so I'll
Yeah.
stay on, and then we'll. Yeah, there's something weird. Something wicked this way comes. All right, guys, we're gonna be. Leslie's gonna restart. Then I'm gonna restart. I don't know what's happening. I got to get a lot of stuff off my laptop. Also, let's see. How am I doing storage wise? Guys, this is another magical part. It's called Where's Waldo? Where's the wall? Where's the fourth wall? If I have 1 terabyte of my my HD is 1 terabyte, how many gigabytes should I have available? Someone let me know. Let a sister know. One second, everyone. This stupid program. I think I'm gonna have to stop. I'm gonna trash a program, guys. Sorry about this. This must be so boring, but I'm trying to make it so that I can. Oh, and sorry. Also, my camera is not good today. I don't have my external camera. This is one of those days where a lot of stuff is going wrong. But we had a great show. I only have, yeah. This isn't a processor issue. Uh-oh, what is it? Wait, I'm supposed to have 1,000 GB? 1,000 GB, you say?
100.
GB? Let me see how much I actually have. You're saying I'm supposed to have 100 GB.
Oh, I think he's saying free. You're supposed to have 1,000.
Free, right.
1,000.
1,000 GB?
100 GB free.
Oh,
I think.
wow.
I didn't quite hear the question. I think, but
Yeah.
he did type in the chat 100.
Right. So are we talking GB? How many GB is my question?
100.
No, someone's saying yes. A tera is 100. Oh, I'm supposed to have 100 GB. Oh, okay. Wow.
I'm just saying
right.
what Brad said in chat.
Is Brad saying that? I trust Brad on this.
Okay.
Well, I'm tapped out, guys. So I'm gonna have to figure this out. And I'm gonna, let's see, what can I trash right now? This would be fun. Can I just trash all my music? Guys, it still shouldn't make a difference, they're saying. My messages, it doesn't make a difference. All right. Sorry. Maybe I should restart my laptop. What should I do?
Do you have all your tabs closed? I assume so.
I only have a couple tabs. You know, I'm like that guy in World War II who doesn't give up in Japan. Well, there are a couple of guys who wouldn't give up in World War II, if I'm being honest. But
the tabs are the main thing. Extra tabs.
Yeah, but I only have like 3 tabs open though. Let me close that though. I usually have really bad tabitis.
Yeah. Or if one of them has like video or stuff running, that could.
You know, I'm just gonna have this one open. I'm just gonna have our thing open. In fact, I'm gonna send you this. Sorry, guys. Ow.
Someone said you should keep about 400 gigabytes free for what? What would you need 400 gigabytes for?
That is what we're talking about, gigabytes, right? Here.
Oh yes, but somebody said you should have 400 gigabytes free. It's like that's a computer.
Hold on. I'm sending you this thing. So I've been given okay, I wouldn't do that. Repair disk permissions and restart. Okay. So how do I do that? All right. In the meantime, a second. Guys, this is another reason you love the show.
Yeah. And people are saying, yeah, maybe a restart would help.
All right. So if you, either Leslie or Brad can take over.
Oh, if you want to share my tab, or did you want me to wait for the
I can't
for you
even
to come
share
back
it
to talk?
now. Let me see.
Oh, you can't even share it.
Oh, can I? I want you to control everything. So I just you share and I let you. Okay. And on my cell phone, that's what I'll do. Okay, let me share it. I'm trying to do that now, but it's taking so freaking long. Sorry, guys.
Damn. Yeah.
All right, I think I shared it. Did I share it? Add the stream. But am I going to be, if I leave, are you going to be able to see it? Hold on. I'm going to have to remove
I
myself.
don't know. I'm not sure how StreamYard works.
See, I think I needed to, dang it. Hold on. Let me remove myself. Tell me how.
All right. Well, hello. Are we still here? Are we still live? Do you still see me? I hope so. I am Leslie the Third. Thank you for checking us out on the K. Halper show. It will take me a few seconds to know if you hear me or not, or if the stream is still up. Hopefully, if the chat, if you can still let me know if I'm still up while Katie gets restarted. Katie is on a Mac, so I think so. There's only so much tech support I can do. Okay, so I'm still here. All right, cool. All right. So again, if you want to hit me up on Cash App, on Venmo, on PayPal, just LLEEIII. If you're enjoying the show, we're gonna keep rolling with the show while Katie gets back in, and we will talk about, because Katie did ask me if there was a Biden promise cracker, and there is one, and it's on PolitiFact. Uh, Hosted by the Poynter Institute. You know PolitiFact, right? They're the ones who tell us who's lying, who's not. Liar, pants on fire. Oh, wait. Well, actually, you know what? I probably should wait till Kay gets back, since this is technically politics. We can talk. Should we talk about Star Wars then? Do I have a gaming computer? So, Chico, I do have a gaming computer, but not like a super powerful one or anything. Just one that kind of gets by. Like, I can't game and stream at the same time. It's mostly a streaming. It's mostly just a streaming thing. Phantom is fine until I will replay this. Play the intro music. I actually think I can. Katie, we're gonna wait till Katie gets back before we do our PolitiFact Biden tracker checker. But let's. Oh yeah, in fact, yeah. Thank you for reminding me. I actually did want to play the music video for Struggle Session on the K Haber show, but I have forgotten. So thank you for reminding me to play the music. I did want to do that for y'all. So you may not know. You may know him as Brendan James, one of the hosts of Blowback, as well as the former producer of Chapo Trap House. But he's also a musician. So let me pull this up. This tab up. All right. I think you should be able to hear. I'm pretty sure I picked audio. Nothing I can do about it now. Kay is in control of that. Don't you understand? Here's where it goes off. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Yeah, that's the theme song. Well, people are asking, so what is that? That is the Struggle Session theme song. What's the name of that song? Theme from Struggle Session by Brendan James of Blowback Podcast. You have to listen to Blowback. It's on Stitcher. It's one of the best podcast ever made, and very timely too, because this season 2, just came out. They're releasing the public episodes. And what's the topic? Can anyone guess? Cuba. Cuba. They knew what was going down, and they had it up. Glad y'all liked the music. Glad you liked the video. Struggle Session is my podcast. Check it out at patreon.com/struggle session. All podcasting platforms. We talk about music, video games, pop culture, all sorts of good stuff. Yes, that was a cyberpunk influenced theme song and video. I told Brendan, I'll tell you, I went to him and I said, I need some shit that hits like heavy bass. I want synthy. I want some John Carpenter shit, but maybe a little bit more energy, right? But like bass, like real like trap bass. This is what my man brought me. Brought me exactly what I wanted. Absolutely amazing. And that was like the first take. That was what you're hearing is basically the demo. He didn't really change. He changed like one thing. This is the demo. Like he came and he's like in a day he got it to me. So absolutely amazing musician. Very happy that he worked with me on that. That's the struggle session thing. Glad y'all enjoyed it. Glad you like it. Struggle session. I really love music. I really love music. It's my passion. So I have to have a good theme. I know a lot of podcasts. They get their do and they're fine, right? Struggle session need the real thing. Oh, Chip. So Chip wanted to talk Star Wars, but yeah, Darth Vader, always motivated by love for family. The Padme going to the dark side, wanted to save Padme, turning on the Emperor, becoming light side, wanted to save Luke. It's all about family. At least for Anakin. Anakin is all about family because he lost his mother. His mother was enslaved, then enslaved again and murdered. But yeah, it's all about family. Oh, so video game question. Someone asked me what I thought about the Steam. I forget the name of the Steam, whatever it's called. It's like a video game console. It's like a Switch. You've seen Nintendo Switches, right? You've bought them for your kids, your nephews. You might have one yourself. So Steam has created one. Steam is the store where you buy PC games from. It's very big, almost have a monopoly on the PC game market. And they've created a hardware device that's like a Switch, but and it's going to cost about $400-$500. Now, if you know anything about PCs, of course, that raises your eyebrow. Like, how can you get PC games on a device that's like $400 when just getting a graphics card nowadays is so incredibly expensive and impossible to do? Well, it's mostly going to be a streaming device, I believe. So it's going to be so you're going to be streaming the games from a service. Now, $400 seems like a lot to me for something that mostly streaming. Like the hard drive, back to gigabytes, the hard drive on the default is 56 gigabytes. That's like half a game. So you have to stream it. You can streaming means the game is actually playing on the computer somewhere else, and you're just sending the commands and you're watching video of the game. They've gotten it pretty decent, but it's kind of interesting where video games are going. It almost seems like we are moving away from individual consoles, individual PCs to these streaming based platforms. First of all, nobody can get a graphics card, so you have to like what can you do? Like graphics cards are just hundreds of dollars, and it's just and very difficult to find sometimes. So the streaming, I've used some of it. I did some of the Google one. I think I forget. I did some of the Google one. I haven't done the NVIDIA one, which is the one that the Steam device is going to use. But it works for me decently. But you can get a lot of the graphics aren't going to be as clear. That's the problem with it. It's just never going to be as clear as like a real console. So like you're paying $500 for a handheld device. You can play a lot of games on it, but you have to be on Wi-Fi all the time. You have to have good Wi-Fi. And if that's the only option, sure, but like you kind of wish that wasn't the only option. You wish you could like spend $400 and just get a good graphics card, You wish you could spend $400 and just get a good handheld console too, right? Like I $400 seems like it should be enough to get an actual console and not a streaming device. And that's the base model. The higher ones are like 600. For like that seemed like $600. You should get like something that actually really plays a game. Unless even like the VR headsets, they're like 400, and even though you have to plug them in the computer to play really like advanced games, some of the better games, you can still on the Oculus Quest, you can use it by itself, and it's only $300-$400. So this Nvidia thing you all be able to have like a decent, portable collection on there without having to always stream it. So let's see. Oh, and Katie is asking me to remind you, please, please, please sub to the channel. Always sub to the channel. We want to get Katie to 50K for her birthday. Katie to 50K for her birthday. Katie's somewhere. I'm in communication with Katie. I am in direct contact with Katie. Katie is giving me updates on a need to know basis. So we're all right. We're all right. And Katie says we're allowed to talk about Star Wars and video games while she's not here. But we'll go ahead and look at the Biden promise tracker since Katie is watching. So she'll hopefully she's watching and we'll get a kick out of this because I did too. So PolitiFact is the one that did the Biden promise tracker. Your pants on pants on fire, people. Well, proof of life is the fact that I'm asking for subs. So 50K. That wasn't my idea. I never think about that sort of thing. I don't use YouTube, so I don't think about subs. So proof of life is that I'm asking for subs because Katie is texting me, say make sure to sub, get Katie to 50K. Ask your friends to sub. All of you have like 5 Gmail accounts. I know I do. Go in your different Gmail accounts, log on to YouTube, and sub for Katie. You don't have to do anything. She's not gonna send you emails or anything. Use your extra accounts, sub to Katie, get those numbers up. Thank you so much for joining us. I think maybe Katie might not come back until she gets to 50K. I'm not saying she didn't say that to me, but I don't know. Maybe this is she did say that she needs to act more like a diva before the show. She did say to me, I need to act more like a diva. Start acting more like a diva. So maybe she's not coming back until we get to 50K. Or she might be cleaning up her hard drive. Either way, we're just going to keep having fun over here. All right. So the Biden promise tracker. Now, I wanted to dive into this because I think most of PolitiFact, not really the arbiters of truth that they pretend to be, right? The way they judge things, the principles of PolitiFact, mostly bullshit. So let's take a look at just the categories. All right, Biden promise tracker scorecard. Promise kept, compromise, promise broken, stalled, in the works. Kept, compromised, broken, stalled, in the works. Want to just ask you first off, just before we get into the numbers down there, what the fuck could be the difference between these two? Really? And really, what's the difference between promise broken, stalled, and in the works? Well, how could you know? Isn't it convenient that they have those 3 categories? Those 2 soft landings before you say the promise is broken? Well, has the promise been fulfilled? No, it's in the works. Is it in the works? No, it's installed. Oh, hey, Katie, you're just in time. I was just talking to the Biden, talking about the Biden promise tracker.
Did you encourage anyone, by the way, to do something very important?
Yes, I did encourage them to sub. You were listening in to make sure I did it.
No, I wasn't. I just came on. I did listen in. I had to restart.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny. I didn't. No.
I did say that was proof of. Someone said they wanted proof of life of Katie, and the fact that I was asking for subs was proof of life because I wouldn't think that because I don't use you. I'm not on YouTube.
Oh, right. You're like a Patreon pitcher.
Yeah, I'm a Patreon Twitcher, so we're asking for
Twitter,
subs
yeah.
is a little bit different. When you sub on Twitch, it's for money. Subbing on YouTube is free.
Yeah, but also I would like to offer people the chance we're going to get 50K by the end of the stream. So it's just a question of whether you guys do it. You create multiple accounts. You ask your friends to.
I did say that. I
Right.
should say most of them have. You have multiple Gmail accounts, so you should be able to. Oh, so they're saying your audio sounds compressed. Maybe you're just far from the mic.
Oh, 1 second. Let me make sure that I'm.
And you're on your right mic.
Audio. You guys are good. I wasn't on my Shure mic. Let me switch to my Shure mic. Okay, now is it better?
Yeah,
Better?
but you're still it's better, but you're still kind of far away from it.
All right, now is this better?
Yeah.
Okay. So, guys, I don't want to look, but someone should check. Just make sure that we're up to 50K. And I really want to thank everyone for doing that. Yeah. Okay. What worked for Jackson Hinkle? Debate someone with a lot of subscribers, preferably on neutral ground, and win can boost. Okay. Oh, maybe we'll have to have a fake. I'll have to fake debate. Yeah. Okay. So sorry, we got this, and then what was the other thing we're going to do? Or we're going to do the fake news tracker for Cuba. So let's see what Biden did. What do we got?
All right. So
what if they stopped doing this? Remember, they were doing this for Trump, and then they announced it's no longer like as robust a feature, I think.
Well, they're doing it for Biden. And I was pointing out the different categories you have. Before we get into the numbers, you have promise kept, compromise, promise broken, stalled, in the works. I'm very concerned already that there are two soft landings over here. You can say he's stalled. If he hasn't done it yet, you can say it's in the works. If he's not doing shit, you can say he's stalled. When do you ever say the promise is actually broken?
Oh my God. Wait a second. Promises kept, compromises, promises broken, stalled, in the works. Oh, so you're saying that the way that it's set up will make it so that he never breaks it? Because you can always say he's stalled or in the works.
Yes, exactly. And this is PolitiFact. They do this sort of shit.
On purpose. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go to a great example right here in the stalled category. Wonder what does anyone want to take a guess? Now we see only 2% of the promises allegedly stalled, 12% kept. I checked those. Wasn't anything funny there. I'll check the compromises, but you see 41 promises in the works. Let's go here. Restore Cuba engagement. This is not broken. As we're just covering this breaking news about his statements on Cuba. This is not broken. This is just stalled. Why is it just stalled instead of broken? And I read this article. I could read it. It's not that long, but basically it's stalled. The conclusion is that it's stalled because they secretly think Biden wants to change the relations, even though he's
waiting
not.
For all the Florida Cubans to die.
Yeah, there's plenty of debate whether Biden's promise to re-engage with Cuba would be good policy, but there's little dispute that Biden hasn't done anything to fulfill his promise. For now, we rate this promise stalled.
What?
What would be a broken promise? What would actually be a broken promise?
This is so unfair that I think that we need to err on the side of all of the promises are broken until presented with evidence.
What does how could that possibly, what does that even mean? I hate this so much. Yeah,
what has he done? What has he done to fulfill his promise? What has he done? What's the thing? There's little dispute. You know what? I dispute it. Leslie, do you dispute that?
I do dispute, and it's
we just got two voices disputing that. And
thank you for the super chat, Sparky and Phantomus Fanto. Thank you everybody for super chat. Sorry if we missed some earlier.
Yes, please repeat. Yeah.
Yeah, but what strikes me about that, Katie, is you've done writing, I've done writing. What happened? You write, you take the time, you go out your day, you write this article. It feels horrible. It's fucking horrible. It takes forever to write this crap, okay? And then you send it to your editor and gives you a bunch of shit about it, and you check it
not
over,
enough
shit
was
and then you send them back and forth. By the time hours of human life have been spent on this, How could you be someone who calls themselves a journalist working for something called PolitiFact, come spend hours of your life, and then that's the summation of it? For now, we rate this promise stalled, even though he hasn't done anything. Is that why you started writing? Is that what you got into journalism for? to say nothing of any substance, even when called to, you're supposed to be calling balls and strikes. You're supposed to be calling balls and strikes, and you can't even say that he's broken this promise that obviously is broken. It's completely ridiculous.
What the hell?
Let's see. Let's see.
The hell?
Let's see if the other, and well, that was only updated, I think, on July 12th. So
Oh yeah, we got to
maybe,
see what they say
so
about it.
maybe now they'll
So-
have to move it over to broken. Definitely.
Can you send me this link in the chat and
Oh, yeah,
in our
sure.
private chat? Because I just have to see this. This is like, I mean, I want to know, have any been broken yet or no? None have been broken?
Here, no have been broken. Oh, there we go. Biden pauses promise to restore to Foreign Police Oversight Commission. He just it's just stalled. Let's just jump to the conclusion because it's all a bunch of
Malarkey.
Malarkey and bullshit. Oh, actually, they don't have a quick summary. Back to Biden's promise. Okay, here we go. The White House has decided to put on pause Biden's promise to form a national commission on policing and focus instead on passing legislation. Key civil rights advocates agree with this strategy, but it does mean that Biden is putting on hold a campaign promise. So when is it broken? When is it broken? Even if he breaks it and you say like the right Black people agree with it, it's still broken.
Right. Diaz-Canel is the president, by the way. There's someone's asking who Diaz-Canel is.
Yeah, we will track what happens to the legislation named after Floyd and any other steps Biden may take in the future. But for now, we rate this promise stalled. What could be a broken promise if that's just a stalled promise? If him literally saying, "I'm not going to do this," how is that not a broken promise? I don't understand. And of course, in the works, we have all of this stuff. How are these not necessarily? Why aren't these stalls? Do you see how it works? Is like the stuff, like the stuff that's actually like is the broken promises are installed. The stalled are in the works. The stuff
this is like a crap. What's it called when you do the thing with cards?
Oh, it's 3-card Monty. Yeah.
The shells?
Yeah. It's like a shell game. It's a
shell game. A shell game. Yeah.
Yeah. All of this is it. I guess all of this.
So has Biden ever lied in his entire life, according to this person?
According to Political Fact, promises broken, no results found. They even bothered to write an article. They didn't even bother to write an article to say so far the Biden administration has not broken any promises. It's just straight up like they didn't even bother to put something in the filler. Oh, let's take a look at what's the compromise? Implement mass mandates nationwide. All right, we're just going to drop down to the compromise. Back to Biden's promise. Biden has taken the steps available to him. Oh, that's a weasel. That's a weasel phrase right there. He's taking the steps available to him to require masks on federal property and airplanes and to send masks to vulnerable populations. But during Biden's first 100 days, we saw some states move in the opposite direction and drop mandates. Although in some instances, officials continued to encourage mask use or require them on a local level. We rate this promise a compromise. How is that? What did he compromise on? It sounded like he got rolled, actually. It sounded like he did like nothing, actually, because I mean, if you ever been in a federal office building, like they're just gonna wear a mask, probably. I think they're probably gonna wear, if anybody's wearing masks, people on federal buildings are gonna be wearing masks, and people on airplanes, obviously. So like, and he did send masks to vulnerable populations. but other states move. So what did he do? Like this, maybe it's in the article, but the summary doesn't even say like what he actually do. Like, how is that a compromise? Like, I guess he did compromise in a sense, but that sounds like a broken promise to me. He didn't do a nationwide mask update.
Wow. Well, okay, that's PolitiFact for you. Stand up for the facts.
I like how happy the compromise button is. Actually, compromise, I think, is supposed to be positive for them. Look at all those happy colors there.
Oh
and the smiling Biden face.
Wait, scroll up to if you go to PolitiFact. Just look at their stand up for the facts. Misinformation isn't going away just because it's a new year. Support trusted factual information with a tax deductible contribution to PolitiFact. Okay, no. You know what you're going to do? Everyone who's watching and listening to this, and I know you're out there who donate to PolitiFact, you're going to cancel your contribution right now. Demand a refund and say, I'm donating instead to the Katie Halper Show.
Katie Halper Show, yes.
Patreon.com/the Katie Halper Show. Cash App also. I don't remember what my Cash App thing is, but it's there. I told you about it last time. I'm also on Venmo. I think it's Catherine_Halper or Catherine-Halper. Well, do you guys want to? There you go. Patreon. There's the Patreon.
Okay, I just want to talk to you about something.
Yeah, of course.
I feel like this is a safe space. I can talk to you about this. I feel like Black people use Cash App and white people use Venmo. Has this been your experience?
I would love to tell you that. I would love to answer that, but that requires that I see something that I don't see. Color. Race. Creed. So I can inquire.
You can inquire if you can find someone. Well, Kate, just so you know, I am Black. By the way,
I had a feeling you were. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna say that I think maybe there may be a bit of a color line with those apps.
And I do think Cash App is a much more efficient and better app, and it gives you like bonus points and stuff. Venmo takes but here's the thing about
Venmo is very performative.
Yeah, here's the thing though. Here's the difference, and this is how white people are sneaky, and this is the tricks you use, right?
One of the many ways white people are sneaky.
Cash App immediately takes it out of your account as soon as you spend it. Immediately is going to take it out of your bank account. Venmo floats you. Venmo, if you want to buy something with Venmo, you got a day. You got a day. So I think, y'all know the tricks. We're all on this Cash App spending our actual money. Y'all over there using credit. Y'all over there have invented a 1-day credit, no interest over there on Venmo, while we're over here, just doing cash. And then when we send the money back, we're getting a cutout.
So wait, which one screws you over more?
It's not that really. I don't think either one of them really screws you over. But with Venmo, you got a little leeway. You may want to make a little. You're out in the town. You don't have enough in your bank account. You can just use Venmo.
Will you be penalized?
No. As long as you got the money in the account before they take it out.
So it's not like predatory lending or anything.
No, it's not predatory lending. It's just that it takes them longer to take the money out. So if anything, they're screwing themselves over, really. It just takes sometimes it takes 1 or 2 days for Venmo to actually charge your account. So if you're, let's say you want to buy something and you're not getting paid till Friday, you can go ahead and do it on Venmo. You can't do it on Cash App.
Got it. Well, what should we do?
Venmo does fronts.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think.
Technically, it's just because their processing time is slower for some reason. It just is slower. So if you send somebody money on Venmo, it takes like 1 or 2 days for it to hit your account. See, that's how I know white people use Venmo, because Black people be knowing when every single thing come out the account. You have to. 1, 2, 3 days, no big deal for some folks, but makes a lot of difference.
Wow. Yeah. Got to get back to IOUs. So let's see. Okay. Right. Got it. Okay. I was just looking at something. Sorry, I was just looking to see if I got any updated information on something, but I have not yet. All right. Well, what are
Joseph
you
said,
laughing at?
he said everyone watching with Venmo is going to go party hard tonight, but crash hard and not wake up in time to fill their bank account. Yes,
Wow.
be careful with this. Now, my bank account usually takes a day. Maybe if you got the same bank that Venmo banks with, maybe it's the instant for you. But for me, Venmo always, and it pisses me off actually because I'm like waiting for it to come out like after a couple of days.
Well, Leslie, do you have like 15 minutes? Because you know what I would love to do?
Yes.
I want to do that game that I'm going to try something a little different. I want to do that game where we go through some fake news.
Okay.
But I'm going to try it this way. Ready, guys?
Wait, wait a minute. Let me see. I think I got a message.
Oh.
I think I forgot to tell you because you were offline. I think I got a message from Camilla.
Oh, yeah. Well, we could also do that.
Yeah,
that you can come and
about
chat.
the fake news. About the fake news.
Oh, great. So here's
Yeah.
what I'm going to do. Ready, guys? Now, don't kill me, but I'm going to try something. How would people feel if we did a little bit of a Patreon only sitch? I'm going to try this right now. We're going to say goodbye. I've never done this before, but I'm trying new things out. What if we're like, okay, this has been the free show, and we're going to have a special post-show Patreon only stream where we do this a little bit. Leslie and Camila and I know, Leslie, you may not be able to stay that long, but some of us will be doing, we'll play a Spot That Fake Media game.
Oh, yeah.
So here's what I'm going to do. How do I do this? I'm going to just say do I just say goodbye and then I post in Patreon a secret link?
Yeah, well, so we'll stop this stream and then start a new one and post this link in Patreon. Okay,
great. So guys, by the way, if you're watching this, you get this whole thing and it's been free for you. There may be parts of this that are Patreon, in which case if you hear me right now and there's nothing after this, that means that's a sign. You go to patreon.com/the Katie Halper Show. Again, that's patreon.com/the Katie Halper Show. Not a good idea. Not class solidarity. This doesn't seem like a good idea. Boo, I just got here. Oh, I don't know what to say.
You can say that if they, well, again, it's late night. You can't be on YouTube in the public. Some of the stuff we're talking about.
Yeah, that's why I got to keep it under wraps. Yeah,
under the wraps.
Come on, we've given you guys like 1 hour and 32 free minutes of show. I'm not going to be guilt tripped. I won't be. Also, I have to switch location, so I have to take a pause anyway.
Yes.
Yeah,
just a bonus show.
It's just a bonus show. Yeah, this is the end of the real show. You guys are great. Everyone here, I love you. You are as important to the show. In fact, maybe I'll think of something. If you subscribe, if you get me some subs, I'll give you the code or something.
Or or just say anybody complaining is probably wouldn't even watch it. So you can just anybody who wants the secret link, you just gotta send the email to Kate. If you really need to send that YouTube link.
Yeah, if you do, just send DM Leslie.
Yes, I'll send it.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's see. I got here after the pause and I'm leaving now because this show has been about nothing. Well, why am I reading that? He didn't pay.
Yeah.
I fell for it. You know what people can do is they can watch a show.
Yeah, I mean, that's so funny. That's so funny. Like,
you're gonna leave? Oh no! Like, but the show was gonna not go on. Of course, you're gonna leave. You would stay. Thank you, David. You could just stay. Yeah.
That's so funny because it's like you're on YouTube. Like, what do you expect? You're not flipping channels expecting Like what? Like you're on YouTube, you have to go out of your way to come here. So that's so weird. It's like, oh, I'm on the I watched the Halper show and she talked about nothing for 5 minutes. What? That's what we love about Halper. That's what I loved about.
Yeah.
That's why I
Well,
started
because
liking
there's nothing interrupted, punctuated by lots of things.
Yes, it's a show about nothing and everything that's important.
Yes, that's so exactly it. That is exactly it. Yeah. He watched for almost 2 hours, lol. Yeah, did you watch for 2 hours? How do we know this? Because if you watched, I'm gonna say that there was something here.
Yeah,
Katie,
that was pretty. Yeah, but now we're having fun late night. Yeah, having.
Yeah, Muhammad. Yeah, Muhammad. Cassius Ali Clay. Where am I in my subs? Am I up? Guys, this isn't about me. I didn't even think of this. Everyone's like, oh, you got so many subs. I don't even keep track of this. Where am I in the subs, though? Did I go up? I really hope so. I may even be able to get us tonight. I'm not promising. I may be able to get. I'm definitely going to get Camilla and some fake news stuff. This is going to be good. We're going to see how this works. Look, we have to play around with stuff, okay? Life is a game. You play, you don't play. You lose, you win. You're a dog-faced pony. You're a pony-faced dog. It's unclear. Is it 50K yet? Oh, I'm going to be on Rockfin by next week. Wait, we're 300 subs away from 50K?
300.
We didn't make any progress? I can't believe it. Wow. That's, I think, do you think it takes the time to update or something? Guys, everyone tell your friends and neighbors that they must subscribe. I'm gonna make a hate video where I terrorize the internet and ask them why they're not subbing. That'll be very effective. There have to be people out there who are subs, like sexual subs, and if I lean into that, I'm like, be my sub. Sub, you're my sub. Why aren't you my sub?
I mean, some people do multitask. Some people cover all bases. You probably need to have a separate night for that sort of thing. I think you need to have like a separate night, probably.
A sub night?
Yeah.
Katie Halper's sub night, subs only.
Actually, no joke. Like most people who do the streaming do subs only stuff. Yeah.
There you go. How do I choose between my subs only and my Patreons only?
Well, you can. Let me see. Can't do well.
I'm definitely going to be on Rockfin. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm a Patreon, but it's easier for me to watch on YouTube. It would be easier if you posted unlisted links in Patreon so I can cast my TV. I do that. That's what I do.
Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah, that's how
I do it. Yeah, where are my subs at? YouTube is busting me.
Oh, I don't need that.
Subdominant is a design term. Oh, how is my petition going? Yeah, we're still live. How is that petition going? Thank you, John Cadman. Hold on.
Oh, we didn't mention that you're gonna be at the M for A.
Oh, I am. Yes, I'm going to be at the M for A protest in New York City. I'm going to have a major security detail. By the way, I shouldn't even joke about that. By the way, change.org, I'm so on to you because every time I get more subs, more signatories, more signers, I am told that it would do much better if I had even more. Look at this. You see this? They told me it was likely to be picked up by this every time. Obviously the more, but they're just pushing me. They're pushing and pushing and pushing.
Well, I mean, this is everything now. This is every website now. It's just, oh yeah, just sign up. You'll get on the view, and then it's you got to get a 500, and it's 1,000, it's 1,500, and it's 300,000. It's just never going to end.
Yeah. So I mean, all they want is, do they get money? Do they get money?
I'm sure they get ads or something like that. So every time you send somebody to the link, they're getting a little something.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna have to start my own thing, my own website. I mean, I have Katie Halper Show, but I'm gonna have to install a petition in there. We also do need, guys, this is true. We need a journalist, jail journalist. Yeah, it's a goalpost moving, total goalpost moving. But we need jail journalists. We need a jail journalist of the week. Who should we jail this week? What journalist who's terrible on Assange? Oh, thank you so much, David Williams. Which journalist who's terrible on Assange should we... A highlighted moment on show? Oh, you mean on Twitch or... Katie has put being a Dom. McCain will cancel her now. I don't get it. Katie should be on The View. I know. Pick a Miami Mafia apologist. No, anyone. Of course, if they're terrible, then they are. I mean, yeah, they're not journalists, but they are journalists. Sorry, this is where we get. Well, you know what? I'm gonna try it because honestly, it's what time is it? It's 10:55. I'm gonna say I'll be on life sentence. God, I'm getting all the text right now. Sorry. Hold on. You know what? I need to take a break. And this has been I don't mean a break, guys. Don't worry, nothing dramatic. I just need to, I'm gonna start a new thing, a new stream. And it's gonna be we're gonna be Katie, will you be on the $1 level to watch? Should I try that, Leslie, as like a first time thing?
Yeah, sure.
I do a $1. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll give it. We'll have that.
One.
We'll see. And I mean, I'm hoping. Yeah, we'll try it for $1. I'm sorry. I have to leave you anyway. No matter what, I'd have to leave. I mean, it's just a question of when. Look at Leslie getting his Venmo up all
yeah,
in there.
before I have to go.
And Cash App.
Yeah. Yes.
Cash App before Venmo.
Yes.
It's like if you're not lending for us, what is it? If you're not, what's that thing? If you're not buying from us, you're buying at us. Wait, it's I know what I'm talking about. The saying?
I kind of know what you're talking about. Yeah. I know.
It's like a for us by us thing.
No, that's FUBU.
I know FUBU, but which is like now owned by white people, right?
Is it? Oh, well,
it's you're not buying from a brother, you're buying from another.
Oh yes, that is one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope those brothers got paid.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna say goodbye. All right. And we're gonna need a little bit of time. Like I'm gonna need like a 5-minute break, and I may be in a different area because I may be in a different room. And you know what? I'm underselling this. I may not have a great mic. I may not have great lighting. But you know who I will have because it's an after hours? Guess who I'll have? Bodhi.
Oh, yeah.
That's fun, right?
That is fun. Bodhi is very fun.
Yeah. All right. So if you just stop by the Patreon, I'm going to make a thing and we'll post it there and we will see you guys soon. So make sure whether you're watching live or you're watching later, if you want to see this great segment where we go over fake Cuba news, fake headlines, then please come to patreon.com/The Katie Halper Show. Again, that's patreon.com/The Katie Halper Show, and you will find the link. Maybe I do a thing where it's $1. If you're $1, you get to see it. That's too complicated. Yes, $1 people can have access this time. All right. See you guys soon. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Leslie. Thank you so much, the viewers. We love you all. Have a good night if you're not a $1.
Yes, if you're not $1.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have a good night, everyone, and everyone else. Just pause. Just give us a few, and make sure you go to that patreon.com/The Katie Halper Show. Okay, bye, everyone.